triangle area tennis audience in the world. Hello, TTP listeners. It is me, Zack, joined as always by Dr. Matthew J. Hanauer. Matt, how the heck are you today?
I'm a lot less sore than most of the listeners today.
And why is that? What were they up to that might
Yeah.
have them feeling a little sore as we're recording on a Monday?
Oh man, they were playing. Some guys must have played 9 matches this weekend. It was wild.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
That's just a normal Parv weekend, I think.
that is true. Yeah, that is a normal part. Maybe the wife's out of town for a couple of days, but yeah, that's pretty standard. Yeah.
Speaking of, Dr. Sarah Cunningham is at a bachelorette party next weekend.
Oh.
Oh, I'll be playing a lot of tennis. I'm
Oh,
sneaking out of
boy.
work early on Friday to kick things off. Big tennis weekend coming up for me. To
Exciting.
prep for Wilmington, which we would be remiss if we didn't plug at the onset of this. Still have time to sign up. The deadline is the 9th. If you're anti-cancer, get in this tournament.
Especially if you're a 4-5 who's anti-cancer.
Yeah, especially if you're anti-cancer and want to play doubles at 4-5, because right now there are not enough people for Daniel and I to seek redemption after a heartbreaker against Billy and Spencer last year.
Yeah.
But you're in.
With Jaron, we are your only competition right now. Yes.
Wow, really good chance of an East End Boys trophy coming home from Wilmington
A
at
good
least.
chance of 2 trophies coming home.
Yeah, there we go. Listen, so today we're going to talk about the results from Hollow Rock, some of the matches that stuck out, some of the players that we want to just give some shout-outs to. We're going to start with singles and work our way into doubles, and then we're going to get on out of here because we're recording during the workday, and we got to get back to that. So, Matt, let's start with 3-5. Matt Curry, a fellow Matt, didn't lose a set.
He didn't lose a set? I didn't realize that.
Didn't lose a set. And to be clear, he didn't have a bye in round 1. So 4 matches, 0 sets lost. He did have his final set was the closest one. He won at 7-5 against Michael Ratliff, the 2 seed, on the stadium court, I believe. Matt Curry is an absolute bump lock. Yes?
Yeah. No, he's been playing great. I want to get him. I'm trying to sneak him in for maybe a 3-5-0 comp for a combo team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm hoping to see if we can make that happen. But yeah, so I've known him more for doubles. I didn't know he was that strong at singles too. He just rolled through everybody in singles.
Well, he's going to come up again too because he did the double, the Hollow Rock double.
He was the only one. The Chapel Hill Tennis Club had someone who was close. We'll talk about that later, but he's the only one with the double victory, yeah.
3-5 singles, not a ton of close matches in the main draw. The only one really jumping out to me is in the quarterfinals. Michael Ratliff won in 3 against Srivatsan Ramesh, 10-8 in the third. So that was a good. There were plenty of other good matches. They just weren't that close. They didn't go 3. Yeah. I guess also the number 1 seed did lose in a heartbreaker in the quarterfinals as well, 7-6, 7-6. But still, with that many matches, for only one to go 3 in the main draw, unusual. Yeah. I don't know what to make of that, but unusual.
I do want to take credit for most of Matt Curry's victory because there was a moment. Yeah. So apparently, if you've been to Hollow Rock, there's a little gap between 2 courts. Yeah. And I wanted to take a little shortcut, but I didn't realize that you're like really close to the net, like really close to the players, so it fucks them up. And he said something very politely, "Hey, let's just wait for a second." And I heard it was Matt, and then I realized that what position I was in, and I was like, "Oh shit, my bad."
Would you say that Matt Curry is the most dominant Matt in the triangle at 3-5 since Matt Hanauer?
I would agree with that statement, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a TTP exclusive. I don't think that anybody else has broken that news yet.
Yeah. So after I did that, he won the point. I'm just going to assume he was down like match point or something and just came all the way back. I guess I can't assume that because I know the scores now, but that was in my head. I assumed he was down match point, and he won that because I was able to help just take his mind off the match for a second and reset. So I'm going to take a lot of credit for his victory. No, he played great. He had a lot of matches on center court.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch him.
Deservedly so with his performance. There is just Matts galore this year. Matt Ross, Easton Boy Comic Universe, had a good win in the consolation quarterfinals, 2-2 against Thomas Coker. Ultimately, unfortunately, had to withdraw. A lot of withdrawals in the consoles. And I think some of them, unfortunately, injuries. Some of them just scheduling conflicts. Actually, Stuart and I's round 1 opponent, they withdrew as we reported the scores after our match because I think that they did not have a very good time. And you know what? I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, you played the match. It should count.
Yeah. So he said like, the scores got reported, and then one of the guy goes, "Just so you know, we're not coming back tomorrow."
Oh, I got you. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen that before. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
You let them know, heads up. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, no, that's the right way to do it.
Ah,
But I think the right way to do it is ideally to not do it at all. It's to stay in
yeah,
the tournament and make sure everybody's getting their money's worth. Main draw, consolation draw, it's still tennis. It's all good.
yeah,
And with that, let's cruise on over to 4-0 singles, shall we?
yeah.
Okay. Any matches, Matt, that you want to highlight? Any players that really jump out?
I did get to see a lot of Scott Benson, and he just played so much tennis. I don't know how he kept going.
Yeah.
He was still. I watched some of his doubles and singles matches, and the guy played all the way through. Yeah, he played every single match. He got skeet first round, and then I'm not sure on the second round semis. Yeah, I'm not as familiar. And then he played Tevin, who he beat, which was a fun match. It's always fun to see the hand switching.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild to see that.
He might be my favorite player to watch in the triangle because it's like your mind is playing tricks on you to see a human being that ambidextrous and who can hit a forehand that hard off both sides.
Yeah, yeah. The advice on the chats was hit to his backhand, which was always great. You can find his backhand, then great. Yeah, that's a miracle.
That's clever. Yeah, Scott Benson, because look, he has a play style where it's high percentage. It's deep with pace. He'll run you from side to side. But it's not like his matches are serve +1 over quickly matches. I assume that he was on court not just for a lot of matches, but for quite a bit of time. And so kudos to Scott, an inspiration to all of us to perhaps get in slightly better tennis conditioning. Because I don't think that I don't think anybody can do the amount of matches, the amount of court time he did without being in just great shape.
Yeah, I was chatting with him this morning because I was chatting with about something else, and I was like, "How you feeling?" He said he wasn't bad, but he said he does a lot of running on the sides. Yeah. Speaking of that, I did start because I refused to change my diet. I did start with my dogs, especially my one dog who is a fence jumper, so when she goes out, she doesn't have the chance to like really sprint. So I did start doing some intermediate, like I'll do 20 seconds on, 30 seconds off sprints with her for like about a mile. So that's been good. So I've been trying that.
That's great, man. Yeah. Again, a couple of close matches here, a couple 3-setters just want to highlight. Round 1, all straight sets.
Wow.
None really jump out, although I would have really liked to have caught the Tevin and Gabe Ioko match. Gabe is a really good player and does tournaments not just all over the state, but really all over the world. David Ninon, East End boy, friend of the pod, 0-0. You don't see that very often in a tournament because even the top players lose focus for a second. David, kudos to him for getting that elusive double bagel. And then in the quarterfinals there, a couple 3-setters. David, after getting the double bagel in round 1, lost in a heartbreaker to Andrew Bird. I'm not familiar with Andrew Bird. Have you played him or seen him play it?
Somebody said I should know him, but I don't know him.
Yeah.
I think he's a boomerang, either the tennis or the triangle, but that's about as much as I know.
What's a boomerang?
Oh, you haven't heard of that? Where you come back like boomerang?
Oh, am I a boomerang?
Did you leave?
Yeah, for a decade. Yeah.
Then yeah,
okay,
you're
yeah.
a boomerang. Yeah.
I'm a boom. I just found out. Hey.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm a boomerang. And then there was another early morning match on Saturday in the corners. David Siegel beat Christopher Stedham 10-5 in the breaker. Some very solid matches in the main draw. And then ultimately, of course, Scott Benson got the win against David Siegel. Let's pop on over to the consolations.
Yeah.
Matt, any of these jump out to you?
How did it end up? Oh, look at that. Josh won the consolation. Lemberg, good for him.
Not only did he win a trophy, he did it with 1.5 hands because he's still recovering from a pretty nasty table saw accident. Scar does look pretty badass, though.
I didn't get to see it. That's too bad.
Yeah. It looks like whatever happened hurt, for sure, and I'm willing to bet that it did. And I don't want to talk out of school, and we still need to have Josh on, but we were actually scheduled to hit with him the day that he basically almost cut his thumb off. And he sent a text saying something to the effect of, at the hospital, going to see if they can get it stitched up and I can play. And as I was reading that, I was like, 1, you are so much tougher than me. It's comical. And 2, I don't think that is advisable to do that. But he's making a recovery, getting some good wins. Blake Watkins absolutely mashes the ball. One of the biggest forehands and serves at 4-0. Really solid win for Josh in the final there.
Did Josh cut his? I'm assuming it's his left thumb off, basically.
It's still on. It works. It's
That
back.
still works.
But
Okay.
yeah, definitely. I'm not handy. I don't know how to do anything other than talk and play tennis. But it is my understanding that it is a type of injury that oftentimes results in losing a finger. But he did not lose a finger.
But it was his left, though, right? Because otherwise,
Yes.
there's no way he's playing this tournament. Okay.
It's got to be helpful in moments like that to be married to a nurse, and
Okay.
I'm willing to bet that Katya helped
Yeah.
make whatever happened less bad. So shout out to that. Yeah. Another match just to highlight before we move on here. Skeet lost in a heartbreaker to Blake. 11-9 in the third.
That's a tough
Oh,
one.
wow. That must have been a really good match, too.
Yeah, I don't think I got a chance to catch that, but I've lost. I've been on the losing end of several 11-9s, 22-24s. It's never fun.
Sorry, you lost a 22-24 match?
Yeah, I told you. Didn't I tell you guys?
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Yeah. Was that in
against-
4-5?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was against Dan Gallo. Yeah. It was wild.
That is. Did you swing vision?
No.
I don't.
But there were a lot of. I have so many. There were at least 8 guys there.
Did they swing
minimum.
vision?
No, but I've
Collusion.
got 8 people to confirm that really happened. It was wild.
I'd like to see the written statements under oath or swing vision.
I will
One
get
of the
those.
two.
I
Yeah.
will get the written ones.
Any other players we want to highlight at 4-0 in singles before we move on to 4-5 singles?
Let me see if there's anybody else I remember watching. I don't think I got a chance to. I watched, like I said, I watched a little bit of Scott's matches, but that was about all I got a chance to watch.
I caught some of the Josh versus Andrew Chan match.
Oh, nice.
Andy Chan's good player, grinder, good forehand. Started playing tennis like pretty recently and has gotten very good very quickly. And obviously didn't get it done against Josh, but certainly a player to keep an eye on who is getting better at a very good clip.
You saw that match? I think I was watching that match.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
see you. Where were you there? I didn't see you there the whole time.
Yeah,
Did we literally just miss each other the entire time?
Like ships in the night, Matt. Just
went
cruised
right
on
past
by.
each other?
Yeah. I waved at you, actually. You just didn't wave back.
Now that
I'm kidding. We
That
definitely.
one I don't believe.
I think we were both watching tennis and not paying attention to a ton else, and then must have walked right past each other.
Wow, that's wild.
Too funny. All right, let's get into 4-5. Matt, start us off. What jumped out at you in the 4-5 men's singles bracket?
I was super proud of Daniel Marchek, our unofficial, and I think he's official, marketing director. He got 5 games off of Hankinson, which
Sheesh.
I'm trying to, let me see if anybody else got any close. He got the second most out of anybody, I think. Evan got 6. That's a lot of games on Hankinson.
Hankinson is, I'm going to also say, a Matt Curry level bump block. I mean, that dude
he might
can
even be
play.
higher. Yeah.
I saw, so Tyler Carroll was kind enough to send over some footage of a couple
Yeah.
matches, one of which was one of Hankinson's. And I think he's got the best backhand at 4-5, and I don't think it's, no disrespect to anybody else. I just don't think it's particularly close. It's so smooth and so clean and consistent and reliable, and I just cannot relate at all to what that must feel like. But I marvel at how consistent he is able to hit the ball deep with pace.
And again, one of the things we've talked about a couple of times is the younger fellas.
Yeah.
You get that advantage because they're not as old, they don't have experience. That is not the case with him. He is mentally stronger than almost anyone I've seen out there on the court. So, like, you just don't even get that advantage with some of the youngsters. Like, you don't have that against him.
It does feel like watching him play, it feels unfair. It's okay, he is comfortable sitting in the pocket and running and just making high percentage shots all day. He will not make a dumb choice, and he's in unreal shape, and he's a young guy.
Yeah.
It's an unfair it's a 5-0 set of traits, right?
Exactly,
Like, it's just not, it's a really short list of
Yeah.
guys checking all those boxes at
Yeah.
4-5. And he's certainly one of them. That dude can play.
And he's a fun dude to talk to and hang out with.
Yeah.
He's always out chatting with everyone. I got to talk. I just met him for the first time about a week ago and got to talk to him a lot. Him and his buddy Liam.
Yeah.
Just really good youngsters. Great guys. Really enjoyable watching all of them. Had a good time.
So there's a familiar name that's about to come up that I think anybody who's listened to really an episode or more is going to have heard. John Hereford, the 1 seed. It's a one-sided rivalry for many of us to him because he's been rolling through people for years and years. Round 1 beats Shravan Rajan 6-3, 6-1. Round 2 beats Jeff Clow, a very good player by the way, 6-2, 6-0. Matches up with John Hankinson in the semis. Hankinson wins 0-0. I was flabbergasted
Yeah.
when I saw that result. John Hereford is like a national champion at NTRP tennis, and I think
Yeah.
he's won a bunch of tournaments. He's the 1 seed for a reason, and I don't know that we will see him get double bageled again at 4-5.
Not unless JC's John again. I did get to watch some of that match. Yeah, they were ripping the ball. I didn't think it was 0-0. Hereford
Yeah.
seemed to be getting points here and there, but yeah, I talked to John after, and he was like, "Yeah," he was saying, "Yeah, I just had his number," and
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, this guy beats the majority of average to above average 4-5s." Just
Yeah.
so you know, like that's a really good score.
Evan Wharton, by the way, he has just burst onto the scene this year, and I know he did not get it done against John Hankinson in the final, but again, he won the most games. 6 games against John Hankinson is like beating basically anybody else. And Evan had a great run in Charlotte, kicked my ass in a league match in doubles. All around swell guy. We're lucky to have him in the triangle, and I hope we keep him for a long time because he's a very, very good tennis player.
Yeah, and I think he could win it at 5-0, but I think there's just you can see that difference between Evan, who's the top, probably one of the best 4 or 5 single players, and then John is just that huge level, and you'll see that jump for him to 5-0, and that's the difference.
I gotta shout him out. A local elected official, Carl Rist, Councilmember Carl Rist was in the tournament, multiple events.
Great.
That's pretty cool. I think that's rad. He had a good match against Kelvin.
He had a great match against Kelvin. I got to see him play Seiko. That was a good match. He was running Seiko ragged, and Seiko was tired. You could tell Ryan was tired. Ryan was giving everything. He had played like 4 or 5 matches before then.
Yeah.
He had just had a 3-setter with Daniel. And Carl just was ready for him. He wasn't giving up. And Carl had a 3-setter before that. And Carl
can ball.
He's not a young man. And I think he'll be okay with me saying that. He's not a young man.
He moves like he's a young man, though.
He moves and he plays like he is. And he's in very good shape. But I know he had a lot of fun. I got to chat with him a little bit. And yeah, he had some good matches.
Yeah, man. And I think it's selfishly, anytime you've got an elected official who's a tennis player, it's great. This is somebody that understands the need for investment in the tennis community and the value that it provides to. And so it's cool to see him out there. The consolation had probably more interesting matches in the main draw at 4-5.
Yeah.
The Seiko Marchek, both friends of the pod. One, the director, the czar of marketing, excuse me. The other, I think the only multi-time guest.
Yeah.
Or one of 2 multi-time guests.
He might be the only one, I think, yeah.
And then Carl had a 3-set against Jeff, 10-7. Seiko and getting the win against our czar of marketing, Daniel Marchek, 10-3. Yeah. I think the fact that Daniel's getting out there so soon after becoming a dad is fantastic and impressive. And
not
good on
getting
him for
destroyed.
Like,
he's hanging in there, yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then lastly but not leastly, just shout out to Visakin. He took tough beat in the main draw to Brett Eccles, who is, of course, one of the best one-handers, great player. And then Visakin just rolled through the consoles. He's playing awesome.
Yep. No, I lost to him in doubles the other day. It was tough I forget, I was playing with my part Charlie.
Yeah.
And we were just like trying to figure out where to serve to. He served to his forehand. He's been blasting us, but he hit his inside-out backhand real well. We didn't really come up. We lost. We didn't really come up with a good strategy. We weren't quite sure which wing to go on.
Yeah. Anything else we want to highlight in the 4-5 singles division for the fellas before we keep it rolling?
No, I mean everyone just congrats for not going to the hospital.
No one went to the hospital, and all the matches got completed, and none of them had to do the bullshit fast four scoring system, which I understand the necessity of on a rainy weekend, but absolutely detest. It's a different sport.
I think some of the guys might have wanted a fast four because they were playing a lot of matches.
Fair.
A lot of matches.
Fair. Before we get into plugs, I want to do a quick bonus event. 3-5 mixed doubles.
Oh.
Friend of the pod, the mayor of East End.
Not
Michael
a tournament
Young,
player. Not a tournament player.
Not big, famously big tournament guy. More and more people are saying Michael Young, big tournament guy. Actually, some people call him Michael Big Tournament Guy Young. I just heard that said earlier.
At the coffee shop, right?
At a hipster coffee shop in downtown Duluth, Minnesota. Yeah. So there's a bit of a story here, right? Okay. Michael and his mixed partner Amber, they played in Charlotte, I believe. I know they played a tournament previously. They got to the finals where they lost to a really tough tandem. They had a pretty electric run. Cruised through round 1, get to the semis, win 13-11 in a breaker, epic against the 2 seed. They get the 1 seed, the same people that beat them in the finals of the last tournament. And unfortunately, they beat them again. But fun was had by all. Trophy was won.
Yeah.
And I think if they play a third time, big tournament guy Michael, big tournament gal Amber, maybe going to get it done?
Maybe they'll have to get it in Wilmington. Who knows?
Oh, there's still time to sign up. Thank you so much for bringing that up again, Matt. Also want to shout out Amber, who was really fun to watch. I got to see her playing with both Michael, but also with Laura Lee Bible in a couple of pretty epic ones. I have to just go over there for a second to talk about what the scoreline was. This is a brutal one. This is not quite as extreme as the match that you played, but Laura Lee and Amber lost to the 2 seed, Molly Andrews and Elaine Hudson, 17-15 in the third.
That's rough, yeah.
That is a heck of a match, though.
That's tough, yeah.
Oh, man.
Those are always tough. It doesn't matter if it's 11-9 or whatever that was, or 22-24. Those losses those are tough.
Yep. Ultimately, Molly and Elaine got it done in women's 3-5. That was probably the single most even and most entertaining division of the whole tournament. If you look at the match scores, it was like it really could have been anybody's tournament. Really fun to watch. And with that, Matt, let's move into plugs. Hey, what you got today? Give us a tennis plug and a non-tennis plug.
Tennis plug. I talked a little bit earlier. I've been trying to, because again, I refuse to change my diet. So trying some running, and then after I run, I usually eat a bag of chips to offset it. So any gains that I get are quickly offset by. Oh, and then my wife made a homemade ice cream cake. I go for my run and then I eat my ice cream cakes.
You're just recovering. Like, I believe that ice cream cake is actually something they give a lot of elite pro athletes after training sessions to help them recover. Is it working for you?
Yeah, I think it's the chocolate drizzle, the whipped cream, and then the Reese's Pieces on top that really help.
Yeah, dude, you're making me hungry in the middle of the workday right now. I got like,
I might grab
that sounds
some.
amazing.
I might grab some. It's really good. Yeah.
Is that? Can you bring that to our match this week? Is there leftovers?
There are. I could. It'll freeze. You'd have to eat it before, which you probably don't want to do before the match.
Oh, man. And you guys are both Midwestern, so you know that it's like extra bad for you, but even more delicious, whatever the ingredients are.
This one's really bad for you. And there's no, I wish there was a freezer at Chapel Hill Tennis Club because I could put it in there and then we could eat it after.
They've got a freezer somewhere in there. They got the big thing with all the ice. Just put your cake in there.
Yeah, I probably could ask them. But, yeah, I'll bring you something else. I'll bring you something else for the match. Since you're making the trek out there. I know you don't like to make the trek out there.
And what is your tennis plug?
I thought my tennis plug was running. Oh.
Or if you're running on the court, sure, but.
Okay, I can't believe it, but you should start thinking about combo, guys. People are starting. So this Sunday, I was rescheduling a spring match. I was sending out lineups for the first summer match, and then people are starting to get chats together for combo. So start thinking about combo. It's happening. You're going to want to start thinking about early. If you're captaining, let me know. I'll find you players. If you want to play, the best thing to do is captain.
Yeah.
You can always find players. I can't guarantee you're going to win a bunch, but we will find you players, good dudes that'll be happy to play tennis with you.
If you were thinking about captaining, do it and sign up quickly. It's crazy how fast those slots go. And if you are a member of a racket club or a country club or any kind of private court facility, please create a team and use that as your home courts because we have a I guess, good problem in Eno and in Enocta. We don't have enough courts there, or we don't have enough public courts at least, and I think the city is working to renovate some, to update others, but to my knowledge, there is no plan to build more new courts, despite the fact that there is clearly a need. And also just gotta, for my plug, my tennis plug, gotta shout out Skeet Surrency, the director of advocacy for Enocta, who's been working hard to get folks to engage, to write letters, to show up. And look, it adds up. It makes a difference. Is it going to happen overnight? No, it's not. Is it going to happen with a tweet? Definitely not. But if enough people say, we believe this is a necessary and worthwhile investment, and I'm talking about new courts, not even public clay, just new courts generally. They could be public clay. It can happen. If we believe that it cannot happen, it will not happen. So lie to yourself a little bit if you have to. Whatever you got to do to write the fucking letter, just do it, all right? Please. And I feel bad. I'm being a hypocrite right now because I actually owe Skeet a letter or two. So it's important. It's important to get it done. Don't be like me. Do it. It adds up. And Matt, you have some personal experience with municipal government, so you know as well as anybody that's the case, right?
Yeah, you have to be. If the best thing, the way I was able to influence change was get on the councils like you were,
Yeah.
and then I was able to stop a sidewalk from being built for many years. I was very proud of that.
I do have some follow-up questions as to what about that sidewalk was like, whoa, can't have that.
Have you ever seen how expensive they are?
Yeah, sidewalks. The ballot initiative that Durham passed in the fall was like 105 million or something for sidewalks.
Yeah.
It's not like that many miles,
Exactly. You're not
but it ain't
getting
getting cheaper.
Oh, so they would give us they would give us 400K to work with. So it was either sidewalk,
Yeah.
like 2 blocks of sidewalk, or new security system for the women's shelter, or emergency generator for the food bank. Yeah, no, I'm not doing the sidewalk. Sorry.
I'm abundance pilled, by the way, which is going to trigger some of our listeners.
Abundance pilled?
Abundance pilled, yeah.
I don't. Sorry, is that a social media term? I haven't
No,
heard of that.
it's you know what? It's not related to the triangle tennis scene or podcast, but I would encourage you and our listeners to look up what the abundance agenda is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's like Derek Thompson at the Atlantic.
Oh, okay.
I think Ezra Klein is big into it. Matt Iglesias doesn't get enough love for.
Okay, I
for
know those
pushing it,
names.
yeah.
I just haven't heard that. Okay.
It's an interesting set of ideas that believes that the answer is typically more, not less. Yeah,
Just more of everything.
Just more is what it is distilled to. Yeah, and it's true. On that note, my non-tennis plug, therapy. I'm doing it again. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're feeling a little blue, feeling a little anxious, whatever it may be, you should go do it. It's very helpful. And it's, in a sense, a tennis plug because you take care of your mental and you're all of a sudden, randomly, your game seems to improve a little bit. So definitely been helping me just deal with some stress, work stuff mostly.
Yeah. I did have to stress bench for a while. I just didn't play well. I wasn't ready to play.
Stretching.
And I came back and Jody was like, "Are you all right?" in there? I was angry. I was just going, just screaming, and I was like kicking walls. I was like, "God damn it! I can't believe it." I was so angry.
I'm so happy to refer you to my therapist. Based on what you've just told me, it would be a email introduction. It could be just between you and us and our listeners.
Yeah. I felt great after the stress bench.
Yeah. That hey, you know what? Whatever gets it done, whatever keeps you in that good headspace.
Yeah.
And with that, let's cruise on over to 3-5 doubles. If you've made it this far, you already know Matt Curry.
Well, we'll just do a quick round before singles. 5-0 singles.
Wait. Oh yeah, that's right. That happened.
Andres destroyed everyone, and that's what happened.
Who could have seen that coming?
Yeah.
Only anybody who's ever seen Andres play. On clay, too. I feel like his game translates to every surface known to man, but perhaps especially clay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the number one, he said he was having a good match, but the guy he played in the finals had to retire after 2-1. But
because the guy retired, this stat is like less cool, but technically Andres lost 4 games in winning a level 5 5-0 in TRP division, and that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. And then 3-5. Yeah, 3-5 dubs. Like you said, it's the Matt Curry show so far.
He's crushing it, man. Yeah. Get him on. Speaking of combo season, get him on any 7-5 team. For 8-5, you can do 5-0 and 3-5 still.
That's what I'm trying to work on. That trying to work on that. I know. Yeah.
Would you pair Matt Curry and Andres if you got them both on your team?
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I'm trying to do a mixture of a CHC team, and he's a member at Chapel Hill Tennis Club, so I can get him and another. Chapel Hill Tennis Club has lots of 5-0s.
Yeah,
love to get them paired, so I'm working on it. Tuesday I'll be hustling when we play some of those Chapel Hill Tennis Club guys. See if I can talk them into it. Yeah.
Okay. Not a ton of close matches in a pretty small main draw for 3-5 dubs, but there was one that really jumped out, which is David McNulty and Michael Ratliff got a third set win over Blake Watkins and Brandon Cody Van Buren, 10-3 in the third. Oh, man. Blake and Cody won the second set 6-3, lost the first set in a tiebreaker, third set in a tiebreaker. That is as close of a loss as it gets. Really fun duo, by the way. A lot of power coming out of the two of them.
Yeah. I don't know Brandon very well, but Blake can really rip the ball,
Yeah, you can hear Blake from the parking lot because he hits the ball so hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's a thwack. that you rarely hear in a 3-5 match. Matt Curry, however, might be an exception to that because he also his kick serve. I think he's got the best. He's got a top tier 4-0 kick, and the fact that he's able to deploy it at 3-5 is just—it's almost unfair.
Yeah. No, I watched a couple of his matches. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like I said, the only person to take home the singles and doubles trophies at their level. That was great.
Redemption for Blake, getting that win in the consolation finals after a tough one in the main draw. It's always nice if you see somebody lose a tough one in the main draw for them to get a good win after that. It's also everybody listening plays tennis. Like for the psyche, that is good. So kudos to Blake and Cody. Really cool there. Let's pop on over to 4-0.
Yeah.
Oh man, you already know.
Yeah.
There were some. So Christopher Green and Ryan Berliner set the tone in round one in a pretty epic match that was ultimately won by Nick Lau and Cameron Crump. I hadn't seen Cameron play before this weekend. He has a very smooth game, and he takes the ball out as far in front of his body as any player I've seen.
I haven't seen him play. Interesting.
His kinetic chain is outrageous because he's a slender guy, and he cranks the ball. And it's not like he's like muscling through it. It's just a smooth, fluid motion. Serve off both wings, and really want to get on a court with Cameron at some point because he was fun to watch.
That really frustrates me when I see these skinny dudes like Hankinson too. Like that guy, if we bench, like I double his bench press. But we're on the court. He like
I don't know. Hankinson's a young guy. You never know.
Yeah. Maybe he's stronger, but my point is, you get these skinny guys, like Cameron and these other guys, and like my legs are 3 times the size as theirs, but I hit the ball at a third of what they hit it, and so it's just what the fuck. That's so annoying. I like yelling at myself. Why are you doing leg day if you're not going to use your legs?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
I would say that the match where the tournament was decided was in actually the semifinals of Mike Westlander and Stewart versus Cameron and Nick Lau. But I'm looking at the final, which was ultimately won by Mike and Stewart. But I'm looking at the final, and it was close, too, for Scott Benson and Gabe Dichter. And, look, that is a wily, very solid doubles team. Gabe has some of the best volleys. Yeah, like absolute top-tier volleys at 4-0, but just like broadly. And then Scott, who we talked about already. Just a smooth game, doesn't miss much, has good pace and good depth, and doesn't make bad choices. That is a recipe for success.
That was a really fun match. I got to watch a good chunk of that.
Yeah.
They actually had, Scott and Gabriel had 3. They were up 40-love, 5-4, and they had 3 match points, and they lost 3 in a row.
Oh,
it was
wow.
rough. It was painful to watch. And they came back, and they lost. Yeah, they ended up losing the tiebreak. And then they had to go and win. And they were down most of the...
Come on.
Yeah, they had multiple match points against them, I think, in the third set, or if it was very close. And they ended up taking it. But it was back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough to drop at 40-love 3 match points and come back.
Wow. I'm going to say it. I think Scott and Gabe got draw dogged a bit. So let's just go look at this tournament run. So round 1 in the battle for CHTC at Hollow Rock, Dan Clemson and Chris Giordano. Like, look, that's a tough doubles duo. Chris has some of the best ground strokes, very solid serve, good placement, mentally tough. Dan Clemson cranks the ball.
Big serve.
Yep, like just good player. Both have been in big matches in USTA at a couple different levels. That is as tough of a round 1 match as you can get. Round 2, they get Raymond, the happiest man in tennis. His laughter is infectious in the best of ways, and we should all aspire to be more like Raymond. And Gabe Ioko, another very good player. Raymond also mashes off both wings.
Oh,
his backhand, I've seen him tag a person or two with the backhand, and that's always fun.
Crushes it, yeah.
Another tough match, and then they go 3, just like you were talking about, against Jeff Clough and Ed Molesky. And then they get, and what is the reward after these 3 very tough matches? They get Stewart and Mike Westlander in the finals.
And that's Scott's at least 7th match of the tournament at that point. So, that's just, I'd like to see them play fresh. I still think Stewart might get the best of them, but I think that could be a close, really close 2-setter, some tie breaks if everyone has fresh legs.
Yeah. I think the most impressive win for me in the main draw was Mike and Stewart against Nick and Cameron. The most impressive result, though, I think, was them beating Sudhanshu Handa and Santha Perry in 0-2. Both of those guys are ballers. I know that Mike and Stewart are playing really well and have put a ton of work in, but that's just a a dominant result against two guys that get a ton of wins. And just kudos to Mike and Stewart. I know that they're on the chase for points, and they're getting them. Hopefully that Nationals dream is still alive for the two of them, and hopefully they can get it done.
Yeah.
Let's pop on over to the consoles at 4:0.
Yeah, and I also have a hard stop at 3 p.m.
We might have to cruise through 4-5 then. All right.
So much fun there. Let's do the back draw real quick and then move on
to
4-5.
Barry and Jaron winning in 3 against Chris Giordano and Dan Clemson. That must have been a great match. I would have liked to see that. And then ultimately, that's one to highlight. Alexei McLaughlin and Chris Combs winning 10-3 in the third in their console semis match. And the finals was like probably one of the matches of the tournament. Chris Combs, Alexei McLaughlin getting it done 7-6. 6-7, 10-8 against Sudhanshu Handa and Santhaparian, who we mentioned earlier as being very good players. And that result shows it because Chris and Alexei can both play. Yeah. That is as stacked of a 4-0 doubles draw as I've ever seen.
Wow. Yeah, it was wild. They were on I think they left. It says 4:30, but I know they didn't start then. And I was getting texts in the Chapel Tennis Club chat, and I don't think they got off the court till 8:30 last night. It was wild. They were
That's
there
a long
all day.
weekend.
It was a long weekend. People played a lot of matches.
That's a long weekend. Now let's talk about my flight.
Yeah.
4-5 dubs. Man, I'm just gonna start here. When Stuart and I saw that we were matched up against Perry Smith, we thought, okay, let's look him up. And then the other guy's name was Dwayne Johnson. And for a fleeting moment, it was like, is this match about to be Too Fast, Too Furious?
What a great name.
It was, So, Dwayne Johnson, probably early 50s or so. Imagine just having a normal name for 30 years. And all of a sudden there's a wrestler who's like kind of big. And he's like really big with your name. Okay, no big deal. It's not going to get more outrageous than this. And then that wrestler goes on to have a mega star career. And I'm sure anytime he checks into a hotel, the people are like, oh, might that be?
Yeah.
And then it's not The Rock.
It's not The Rock.
That being said, the dude could play some tennis. I think I don't know that he like wins in a fight against The Rock, but he probably wins in a tennis match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
bet The Rock probably has a good serve. There's no way he's got a good net game. I don't think that he would have the touch.
So?
No,
okay.
no,
yeah,
too strong.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Take it to the bank. Other matches to highlight. Dude, the round one matchup of Tyler and Ezra against Kelvin Menezes. How do you say Kelvin's last name?
I just say Kelvin.
Kelvin M. and Daniel Marchek. Man, that was a close one until the tiebreaker. 10-1 for Ezra and Tyler.
You'll see a pattern of that. I've lost to them in third set tiebreakers. They tend to know what to do and turn it back on in the tiebreak when they need to.
Hankinson and William Martin had a tough round one match against Eccles and Purdue. Both very good players, of course. Brett's got the one-hander that I think if we could all pick what our backhand looked like, probably would pick that. It's so smooth. 6-2, 7-5 there. Then we get to the semis, and I just got to start here. I've been hit with a lot of tennis balls in my life. Been playing since I was a little kid. It's part of the game. When you run towards the net during overhead sometimes, as occasionally I do, you sign up for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, a ball went up in my match, and I knew better than to run towards it because I was playing. Stuart and I were playing Royce and Kwame, and Royce sets up, and I just turned around and hoped for the best. Royce tagged me as hard as I've ever been tagged with a tennis ball in my entire life. And it wasn't like
at the net.
No. Like it was just like a clean struck overhead, no malice by just a strong ass dude and a great tennis player in Royce.
Yeah.
I had a welt. I had a tennis ball shaped welt next day. It was cool. That being said, like in those moments, the adrenaline's like kind of pumping, right? And so it didn't hurt. It didn't feel good, but it didn't hurt that bad. Next day it hurt, but I knew it was bad, and I'd gotten really tagged. Because the 8 or 9 people watching were just like, in a way that I've never heard anybody react on a tennis court. And so that was, I wouldn't say it was a highlight, but it was a memorable moment, I'm sure. Certainly for me, and I think for everybody that was watching.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Good match. They're a really good team. No shame in that score. 7-6, 7-5. That's a
I
good
think
score.
they gave us a game. I think they actually beat us 6-4 in the second, but I'll take major UTR implications there, so I'll take that extra game.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, going into a match, I think that people should lie to themselves, and they should say, I am going to win this match, and I certainly try to do that. But afterwards, you got to be realistic, and Royce and Kwame are just too good. I think Stuart and I, we've made so much progress as a team and individually, but those guys are just really good tennis players. And so kudos to Royce, kudos to Kwame. Kwame is probably the best net movement of anybody that I've played. I mean, because I was like on Royce's big kick serve, I was standing way behind the baseline so I could try and give myself a little more time and catch it on the way down. And Kwame was just able to cut off pretty good forehand returns consistently. And it made me feel like there was nothing I could do to get it done. So I was really impressed, as I always am, by his game as well. Royce, I think, has the flashier game because he just hits the ball so friggin' hard.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's him and Ezra are two of the best ones, but they do it in opposite ways. Ezra is smash and Kwame is touch.
Yeah, totally agree. That other semi, William Martin, Hankinson versus Tyler and Ezra.
Yeah.
Did you catch any of that?
Yes, I got to watch a good chunk of. Did I catch that? No, I didn't catch that one, but I saw them play a week earlier. So I know what the match was like because I saw them play a league match, and they lost at a very similar scoreline, third set tiebreak. Yeah, it's just tough. Hankinson's so good. And then, it says William? Oh, he goes by Liam. That's interesting.
I guess Liam. Yeah, that's part of William.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed. Yeah,
I wouldn't have guessed either. Yeah, he goes by Liam. When Hankinson's crushing it, you can't get it back that solidly, so he puts everything away. Yeah. So it's just really tough. And they're both taller dudes. They're probably at least 6 foot. Hankinson's probably like 6'2". I think Liam's at least 6 foot. So they're just a tough combo.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. And I think after Stuart and I tired out Royce and Kwame, I think that's the thing that made the difference.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind, in fact.
They looked exhausted when I saw them playing.
Playing two sets of doubles against us.
On Saturday, and then they played it almost 24 hours later,
Yeah, that's a tight turnaround time for doubles, for sure, on clay.
Yeah.
Anyway, congrats to Liam and John. Did John do the double, too? I guess John did. Yeah, John and Matt Curry, the two that did the doubles.
Oh, you're right. I forgot. Yeah. John he was the other one who had the double win because he also won in singles as well.
That's so hard to do. That's just because you're playing so many different styles. It's hot sometimes. Sometimes it's windy, and everybody has off matches and off days. Like, it's just so hard to do the double. Really impressive from the two of them. Yeah. Let's pop over to the consolation, which not a ton of matches, just the one. Oh man, Eccles and Purdue.
So, yeah.
That sounds like a detective duo. Eccles and Purdue. Yeah.
That would be a good one, yeah.
Oh no. Not going to get away with that. Eccles and Purdue are on the case. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll pitch it by Netflix.
Who's going to solve the mystery of how to win this doubles match? Detectives Eccles and Purdue.
Eccles and Purdue. Yep. Okay.
Against our favorite city council member, Carl Rist and Jonathan Crooms. Eccles and Purdue Detective Agency won it 4-6, 6-4, 10-6. Okay. Nice. That's a heck of a match.
Result. That's a good result for Carl and his partner because Eccles and Purdue are really. I think if they don't run into the guys who win it, they could easily make a run.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a 3 p.m. match on a Sunday of a tournament weekend too. So that must have gone pretty late.
Yeah, and they were all delayed because everyone got. Yeah. They started late. They started at 11. That was the earliest match, and they were supposed to start at 8 a.m.
Might I just say, Hollow Rock put on a great tournament. Matches were getting on time, sometimes getting on early. They made it work with the weather. Got a nice little towel.
Yeah, nice.
They put on a good tournament this year. The trophies, and I don't want to criticize, but I'm gonna. What's up with them? People overthink these trophies. We want person in the trophy pose with the tennis racket, and it looks like in Star Wars when they freeze Han Solo. You know what I'm talking about? That's what the trophy looks like with the tennis racket. I don't understand why. But anyway, congrats to all the winners. Congrats to all the folks that walked away with the trophies. Should have been a guy holding a tennis racket in a normal pose, but you know what? You still got that little piece of plastic, and
that's really important.
It is really cool.
Really
I think we all cherish those trophies more than we should.
It's an audio only, but I got a couple of them up there.
Oh yeah, I can vouch for that. I would sign an affidavit attesting to the fact that Matt's got those trophies back there.
Yeah.
And you know what? There are a few more for you than there are for me. And I'm envious. Yeah. I want to add to my collection. Didn't happen.
Yeah. Some of those are pickleball. But unfortunately, my boss has started a meeting that I am in charge of, so we have to wrap this up.
And on that note, Matt, what does work mean to you? It means go time.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.